I'd like to amend my statement earlier in the week about playing a Joe Foley team feeling like going to the doctor and all that. I'd like to add go to the DMV in the same day to that same list, because it's an excruciating thing to have to prepare for, to think about going in, and then to have to physically do. They really, play to their strengths as well as anybody in the country, and fit every definition of a well-coached team. And it's an honor for us to come in here and play, to get this game going. It's a long time coming. We were really honored to play, and we had to play extremely well and extremely hard to come out with a victory.
Questions for Coach Neighbors? We'll go to Jacob Cias.
Mike, you guys haven't played in a week. How did you think of the way your team came out of the gates early after such a long time off, it feels like, in between games?
Very pleased. I thought our focus the first 5 minutes was really good. Our energy was really good. Again, the challenge of, the time off. Not only during that time off did we have time off, but we also had to take finals and prepare and do all that stuff. And then, we're taking a really aggressive stance with the COVID protocols, and we bust down here this morning. So we had that. And so as a coach, you have a lot of – but I'll tell you the other thing I have is a lot of trust and confidence in that group of seniors. And I thought they were the key. Now, I wasn't really pleased with the second 10 minutes. I thought we lost some of that, and that momentum swung to them. I thought we got it back in the third quarter and finished with it. But pleased to start, not so pleased at halftime, but really pleased with the response.
Other questions for Coach Neighbors? Go to Kyle Sutherland.
Hey, Coach. So we talked last week about your bench play. Of course, Marquisha was out, but tonight or today, Aaron, and Jalen combined for 24 off the bench. Talk about how big that was.
That's that competitive depth that we've been talking about. I said it before the season started. We got 8 starters, and it felt like it tonight. Those kids all came in and I think dominated it at different stretches. Jalen shot it really, really well. Marquisha giving us a lift, some stops defensively and rebounding wise. And then, of course, I thought Aaron was uber aggressive coming back to Little Rock. So, that's a really hard role to fill. But what they get the opportunity is to come in and go against, Coach Foley's kids play a lot of minutes. So they were coming in fresh, and I think they did that 2 or 3 different times. So that competitive depth and Jalen's ability to calm, Jalen just kind of calms everything for us, whether it's getting a loose ball or being in the right spot in transition or hitting a big 3. And then, Marquisha is just a spark of athleticism and ability to make plays that, you don't draw up defensively. She just makes them. And then, Barnum's been playing this way all year. She's been really, really aggressive going to the basket. And we needed every single one of those 24 tonight, that's for sure.
We'll go to Jeff Krupsall.
Hello, Coach Neighbors. How you doing? How would you compare ULR to last year? I mean, what do you just see differently, and what do you think they're going to be like as the season goes on?
A handful for everybody they got left on the schedule. It's night and day difference to me. I think you've got a group that appears very connected and cohesive for having played one of the most difficult schedules in the country. Of course, Foley's a master, and Steve and Alicia and Bobby over there at keeping those guys focused on the end of the year. And everybody here knows that that's what makes them tough in league and somebody you don't want to see in your bracket. I hope this is the only time we have to play Arkansas Little Rock this year. I would not like to see them in a tournament anywhere along the way. And it is a Joe Foley team. I mean, on both ends of the floor, offensively, defensively, making you play the full shot clock, and then just I felt for probably 28 to 30 minutes of the game, they played a lot harder than we did, got every loose ball that came their way. And fortunately, we shot it well. Did we shoot, is it 14 to 27 from the 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, that gets you well a lot. So
was that something that they focus totally on trying to shut down inside and
They do clog the lane. That's typically what they tried last year. We didn't shoot it as well. But clogging the paint on your drive. And then the other thing that they've done better than anybody we've played is keep us off the foul line. We normally shoot, like we shot 39 against Baylor, I think. I think today we shot 18. So they forced us to play side to side. There was times that I didn't like. Our offense got stalled. We dribbled it way too much. But when you make threes at the end of the possession, it kind of looks good. We still got a lot of work to do, but their team, he can beat you. They can beat you a lot of different ways, but I think they were trying to take the three-point line from us initially. Then it opened up some gaps later in the game. We had a couple of key drives. They'd cut it to 10. We'd try to get an isolation, and Slocum's really good at doing that, as is Dungy.
We'll go to Eli Letterman.
To have so many forward depth and people to bring on. Can you hear me? I think I'm a
I think you're unmuted now.
Can you hear me now?
Coach is muted.
Yeah.
Oh, it's too bad. Gary's free now. No.
I'm on.
You're not on mute, but it's really choppy.
Any better now?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
All that come off the bench and just to have such a depth of offense talent, how does that help you cope in a game like this against a Joe Foley defense?
It cut out just a little bit, so I'm going to ask it back to you. It sounded like you said having that depth allows it. How do you cope with that? It kept me from firing everybody. It kept me from just trying next man up. Knowing it, that's going to happen coming into this game. We said it. Part of what they do is they frustrate you so much guarding you and you having to guard them. You can do 42 things right in a possession, and you do one thing wrong, and they're laying that sucker in or shooting a wide open shot. And that gets everybody chirping at each other. Well, I did what I was supposed to do. You didn't do what you weren't there. And then it carries over to your offense. So we were able to now sub and not lose anything offensively. If somebody got frustrated, rather than have to play frustrated, we were able to sub and, take a break and talk about it over there and then go back in and try to fix it. In the past, we've not had that depth. We've had a big drop if we've stubbed. This year, like I said, we can go 8 deep, and we're really close to adding a ninth. I'd like to add a ninth by the time the SEC rolls around, just with all the COVID stuff. But it allows us to survive in an environment that was obviously, set up for it to be hard. Coming down here and playing on their home floor. Did somebody say it's the first time in history during a regular season? Okay, so it was going to be hard, and there was going to be adverse times. But being able to sub and coach during a live ball and get better, I thought we played pretty good in the second half.
We'll go to listed as newsroom.
This is Paul Boyd. Hey, Mike, I wanted to ask about the rebounding. Obviously, we talk about that a lot and size and what they're able to do to you. Did they just play a little harder than you?
Sure.
Were they after the ball a little better?
Nailed it, Paul. You nailed it. I mean, they did. They wanted it more. At times, it appeared like the ball was more important to them and getting the stop. We're going to have some good film to show during the next couple of days but it goes back, like you and I have talked about. We can survive being massively out-rebounded as long as we don't turn it over in a C. Is it 7? Is that right? You can survive if you only turn it over 7. I don't know. I'm having a hard – I'm not so good at reading these new online box scores yet. But as long as our shot attempts are close, we've got a chance, because I do like the fact that we can score in bunches. But if you're not going to rebound it, you better not turn it over. But we did come up with some key ones. I thought we got a few tough key ones like every time they'd get a chance to get it back to single digits in that third or fourth quarter we'd get a stop. So it's something we're always going to struggle with. And that's okay as long as the trade-off continues to be there. If one of those two things goes wrong, then it's a really hard formula for us to win with.
And the other thing I was going to ask about is about free throws. I mean, you didn't shoot as many as you normally do. Sometimes is that just the style of the game at times?
Yeah, they clogged the lane. I mean, they were going to make, and they don't foul. He's in a bunch of Hall of Fames for a reason. He knows how to coach and demand good defense. And I was over there begging for hand checks, but they weren't there, because they don't do it. He's a masterful teacher. He can coach and a style that a lot of people can't, because his kids. When you see a coach whose kids play their guts out for you, you know that they respect what they're doing, and you can tell that whole staff has got that done. But, yeah, I thought they did play at times like they wanted the ball more than we did. I'm not going to go as far as to say they wanted the game more than we did. We wanted this game very badly. But I think they wanted the ball at certain times more than we did. And, sometimes like we got a 15 or 16-point lead, and usually – things happen that go in favor of the team that's 15 or 16 behind, and it felt like that happened. A lot of little and ones that hadn't been being called and all that. That happens when you're on the road, and we call them road rules. And we practice road rules. You've been there when we've done it. So I was proud of our team for when those started kind of taking in that we kind of composed ourselves and finished in a position to shoot free throws down. 10 of 18 is not acceptable for us either, specifically with the people that were shooting them. That's a concentration thing. And, we're going to have to make more of those attempts. If we get 18, we need to be making 15 or 16 of those.
Last question that was messaged in, so you could hear it. Is there anything you did specially regarding Brianna or Scott for Little Rock to limit her impact?
Well, we would go get her anytime she was posting up our guards. Whoever was guarding number 4, and I can't say her name, and I hate being that guy that calls somebody their names, their numbers. But I haven't heard it pronounced enough. Caicedo. I thought what we did, we tried to keep her from driving it, and we used her defender to clog and go double. So, yeah, and Briamber killed us in the SEC tournament a few years ago when we were at Mississippi State. She made like 85 threes in one game. I think it was more like 8. But nonetheless, a lot of attention paid to her. And then I thought Crane, as a result of that, really took advantage of a little more space than we wanted to give her. But it was a team. It was going to be guard their team with some attention paid if Briamber tried to post up our little guards.